Hello all and welcome again in the series of financial accounting and analysis lectures. I, Dr. Shikha, welcome you for this session. And we were, as you know, we were talking about journal entries in the previous lecture. So we'll continue with the forming of journal entries. But before that, we will revise certain concepts and certain um, uh, you can say things related to journal, and then we'll finally come up to framing the journal entries. So in the previous lecture, we talked about what is journal entry. I told you what is the book of journal. Then we talked about how to frame the journal entry, what we need to do, recognize under the three different steps here. Then we talk about the different three types of accounts under which you need to discuss. Now we will be discussing the different rules under these three types of accounts. In the previous lecture, I told you what are the three different types of accounts. Now we will discuss what are the different rules that we need to follow for three different accounts written here. So let's take up the personal account first. Personal account, see, as you can see here, the golden rules of accounting. This is, you can say, the very basic rule of accounting in reference to creating the journal entries or in reference to recording the financial transactions in the books of accounts. So why this is called as a golden rule? Because without this golden rule, you will not be able to create your books of accounts, and that is why we call it as the golden rules of accounting. So this, let's take up the golden rule one by one, and it will be discussed as per the different three types of accounts that we have discussed in the previous lecture. So let's take up the real account first. Real account, as we have discussed in the previous lecture also, that it is the account where we deals with the assets. It can be of two types of assets. One is the tangible asset, other is the intangible assets. Real tangible asset here means that we are talking about the assets that we can feel, we can touch, we can see, like machines, building, cash, bank balance. These all are the assets that we can see, tangible assets. Other is the intangible assets like goodwill, copyright, patents. These are the things which we cannot see. But yes, this can be measured in terms of money, and that is why it is written in the books of accounts under intangible assets. So what does the golden rule says about this real account? Let us take that. One, before going into the golden rule, let me first tell you again that the journal entries are always framed under the basis of double entry system. Double entry system simply says that for each and every financial transaction, there has to be equal and opposite debit and credit. Like if one account is getting debited, for equal amount of credit will be there in some other account. So for each and every entry, there will be at least two accounts which will be affected by it. Fine. So we will discuss this thing, this golden rule as per that double entry system only. So see the real account here. It says two columns you can see here, debit and the credit column. If any real account is getting affected, it means if any asset is getting affected, in that case, what you need to debit is debit what comes in. Any asset which is coming into the business will be debited. On the other hand, if any real account is getting affected, if any asset is getting affected, then in that case, credit what goes out. Let's take up one example here. As this is the example we have taken in the previous lecture also, let's take it up again. Suppose the business has purchased certain raw materials, right? Purchase the raw material means there is some stock coming into the business. There will be one account related to stock. We have to create an account related to stock or goods, or it can be purchase also. So in the transaction where the business is purchasing certain goods, if suppose I want to enter that transaction under the name of purchases. So what does this purchases depicts? It depicts that there are certain goods which are coming into the business. So real account, the purchase will belong to the real account, but because it is talking about some stock, and stock is a asset for the business, therefore it will become a real account. So under real account, debit what comes in and credit what goes out. That simply means that this purchases account will be debited because there are certain stock which is coming into the business. Now, if the purchases is being done by the business and the purchases account needs to be debited, so under the double entry system, you have to be very clear that there will be opposite credit entry also. Now, what will be the credit here? Credit here means if you have purchased a certain asset or you have purchased the raw material, so there has to be some reaction to it. Reaction in the sense you must have paid certain amount of cash to that person. So if you have made a cash payment, cash is going out of the business, and cash is again a real account for the business, see, because it is an asset. So since cash is again an asset, it is another real account which is getting affected into the business with this transaction. And real account says credit what goes out. So cash is going out of the business. So the two accounts which will be getting affected under this financial transaction is, and the final, before going into it, what is the financial transaction? That the purchases of some raw material is being done by the business. Let's take it as 50,000. So 50,000 rupees stock is being purchased by the business and the cash has been paid for that transaction, right? So purchases, under purchases, the stock is coming into the business. So real account says debit what comes in, credit what goes out. That simply means purchases are coming into the business, stock is getting added into the business. So debit what comes in, purchase account will be debited, and credit what goes out. So cash account, since in this transaction the other account which is getting affected is cash account, so we will consider the other account as cash here. Fine. Then real account, final entry here will be the real account, purchase account is getting debited, and cash account, again real account, is getting credited. So purchase account debited to cash account. Now, so real account, final golden rule for the real account is debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Then coming to the next account, that is personal account. Personal account here means any person, when we are dealing in a transaction with a person. Any person means here the natural person, the artificial person, or the representative person. Artificial person means when we are taking the name of any particular firm, organization, government, whatever. Real person means when we are talking about certain human being, right? So personal account rule says debit the receiver, credit the giver. So if any financial, under any financial transaction, if any person is getting affected, you need to debit the receiver. Any person who is receiving anything in a particular financial transaction will be debited, and any person who is giving something to us will be credited here. For example, let's say in a particular example that we have taken under the real account for the purchases. Let's suppose in the same situation, goods of 50,000 is being purchased in the business, but that purchases is not done for the cash, but it has been done for the credit. Credit in the sense there no payment is being done to that particular person. Let's say that the XYZ company has provided that stock of material. So this XYZ is the person here, and since the person is giving us the raw material, giving us the purchases, giving us the stock, therefore this particular XYZ Limited will be credited here because that person is the giver. So under this same situation, the entry, the two accounts that will be affected here will be the first purchase account. Purchase account will have no difference in it because purchase account will remain the A real account only, since we are talking about some tangible asset. So purchase account will be same, debited, and the credit here will be not the cash, because there is no cash payment done to the particular person, but since it is on the credit basis, therefore the name of that person to whom that payment has to be done is being edited. So we will be adding the XYZ Limited account here, and it will be credited because purchase account is getting debited, and since that XYZ Limited is the giver of that stock, so it will be credited here. So the personal account rule says that debit the receiver and credit the giver. Then coming to the nominal account. Nominal account, you know, it is the expenses or the losses, incomes and gains that occurs in the financial, under the financial transaction in a business. We consider it under the nominal account. And nominal account simply says you have to debit all the expenses and losses. Whatever expenses you think, rent, wages, salary, advertisements, like this printing expenses, stationery expenses, whatever, any of the expense that is occurring into the business, you need to debit those expenses and credit all incomes and gains. Credit all incomes and gains here means whatever income that the business is earning, whatever revenue is being generated, whatever gain is happening to the business, all these things will have a credit entry here. So let's take up an example here. Let's suppose that the business has paid salaries to the employees. So salary here means it is an expense for the business. So obviously the salary account will be debited here. Now there has to be some credit also. Now think over it, that when the business or the company will be paying salary, there must be something going out of the business like cash. It might be, if it is being paid in cash, or it can be through check or online transaction nowadays. So if you are paying salary to the employees, that simply means you are parting off with your cash, you are parting off might be with your bank balance, right? So either if you are paying something, some salary in cash, it will be the cash which will be credited, or if you are paying through online transaction or through checks, then your bank account will be getting affected. So now you know very well that cash or the bank, it is a asset for the business, and since it is an asset for the business, it will come under the real account, and real account rule says credit what goes out. So your cash is going out or your bank balance is going out. So under that rule, your cash or the bank balance will be getting credited under this entry. So the nominal account says you have to debit all your expenses and losses, and you have to credit all incomes and gains. Now, how to frame up the journal entry? This thing we have discussed to tell you that how the accounts will get affected by any of the financial transaction, and if the account is getting affected, what are the respective rules for the different types of accounts that is getting affected. Now we will be moving further with the journal entries in the future lectures, so that we can frame out the final journal entry that we have to enter in the books of accounts. But moving further with it, let us take one more slide here. As you can see, it is related to the rules of debit and credit only under different accounts. But to make up the things more clear to you, I have listed out certain things. Let's see how much you can understand here, because it's a totally different language of accounts that we talk about. So those who have the accounting background, they can understand it very well. But since many of the students, they might not have the background of accounts, so they might take certain time to understand this language. Now, I'll try to explain so that it can be clear to you all. It says, see, on the horizontal axis, you can see debit and credit. DR is the short form of debit, CR is the short form of credit. It is written here. And then on the vertical axis, you can say balance sheet items and profit and loss statement items are there. Now you forget about this balance sheet item and profit and loss statements that is written here. You just focus on the debit and the credit entries that is being done here. Now see, it says asset accounts are debited when they are increasing. You have to keep this thing in mind. It is related to the, it is another angle of understanding this types of accounts. Real account. Real account says what? Debit, what comes in, credit, what goes out. Now, since a real account deals with the assets, therefore we can say that it is saying that debit what comes in. It means that some asset is coming into the business, then only the real account will get affected. Now see here, it says assets account are debited when they are increasing. How they will be increasing? When something will be added into it. I had a stock of 50,000. I have purchased more 50,000 as a stock, right? So assets are increasing. Now my stock has become from 50,000. It has become to it has come to 1 lakh rupees stock. Assets has increased. Why assets has increased? Because I have purchased more assets. So since more assets are coming into the business, real account rule says debit what comes in. So you need to debit here. So since the crux of that means, the crux of that simply says, if you can put in the other terms, so it can be said as asset accounts are debited when they are increasing, right? Then next it comes for expenses. Expenses accounts are debited when they are increasing. Expenses accounts are debited when they are increasing means, now see here. Coming under the nominal account, expenses and losses are needs to be debited. So all the expenses and losses under the nominal account rule, it says you need to debit it. So if any of the expenses are increasing, it means, or you can say if any expense account are debited, it means that the expenses are increasing. Or in other terms, if expenses are increasing, you need to debit it, right? Then coming to the liabilities. Liabilities belongs to the credit aspect. Now see, liability accounts are credited when they are increasing. Any of the liability when increases, you need to credit it. And same is for the income. Income you can relate with this nominal account only. Nominal account rule says incomes and gains need to be credited. Coming back here, income accounts are credited when they are increasing. This is the crux of the golden rule, you can say, put in a very different way. Or there is one more slide for you to make the things more easy or understandable, whichever way you can understand. That's the main objective here. So rules of debit and credit says anything which increases in the sense, as if asset increases, you need to debit it. If expense increases, you need to credit it. Liability, income, capital. If these things increases, you need to credit it, right? Then on the other hand, there is a decreasing curve, decreasing arrow here. Asset decreases, expenses decreases, liability decreases, income decreases, capital decreases. There are 5 items here. If asset and expenses are decreasing, you need to credit it. If liability, income and capital are decreasing, you need to debit it. Now, these are the 3 different ways of putting the debit and the credit rules. Each and every rule has its own place. You need to understand it. You need to thoroughly understand the things, so that without understanding these things, you will not be able to frame up the entries. So when we'll meet next in the next lecture, definitely you should be thorough with this debit and the credit rule, so that it can be easy for me to frame up the journal entries. And I guess for me it will be easy for you also to follow it, so that we can be easily go through with the journal entries, and we'll take up the numerical questions for such concepts and frame up the journal entries in the next lecture. So thank you for now. This is it from my side. For now, we'll meet again in the next lecture. Thank you.